For decades, East Tennessee has been a hotbed for pro wrestling and its fans. Looking back, one man has done it all, seen it all, and now sharing it all with stories you've never heard.
Going My Way with Alan Williams. Brought to you by the Lawson Family Foundation, planting positive seeds for the future.
John Gazana Productions presents The Wide World of Wrestling.
Good evening. It's 6:30 and time for The Wide World of Wrestling. I'm John Gazana, along with Jim Hess, inviting you to stay with us for the next 1 hour.
For many, those were the glory days of pro wrestling in East Tennessee. One man got his start in the late 60s, now telling stories through his own documentary.
Wrestling in Knoxville actually began at the old Lyric Theater on Gay Street in the 30s and 40s. But in the late 1950s, Knoxville got televised wrestling.
John Gazana was the heartbeat. The shows brought in Tojo Yamamoto, Lynn Rossi, Don and Al Green, and Corsica Joe to Chilhowie Park.
By 1969, The Wide World of Wrestling, hosted by Big Jim Hess, came to WTVK, the old Channel 26. If you were a wrestling fan then, here's what you saw on Saturday afternoon.
It included Les Thatcher. You were in that classic days. Who are some of the wrestlers that you went against?
Wow. Dick the Bruiser, the original Sheik, Killer Kowalski, Fritz Von Erich, the movie about the Von Erichs was just out, right? The Father, I wrestled.
And you can't forget the infamous brothers Ron and Don Wright. When Les's wrestling career ended, he hosted a Knoxville TV show with a raw 24-year-old alongside him. And boy, was I thrown into the mix. I was told to feed Victor the Bear a Coke. The bear was on a chain, but I did not know what was going on. But the crowd went nuts. I mean, to have a bear come into the TV studios and to do that, I didn't know what was going to happen. And I'm holding the Coke out like this. The 70s gave way to the 80s and 90s, and Les was a trainer teaching fundamentals.
We know what the finish is, in other words, the end of the match.
Mm-hmm.
But you and I have got 29 minutes to fill before we get to that 30th minute. And so this should be the beginning, like a good a 1 hour television show, a good book. There's a beginning and a middle and an end.
Folks like Hulk Hogan came through. At that time, it was Sterling Golden. Later came Glenn Jacobs, Knox County's mayor.
Glenn was just getting his feet wet in our business. When I first met him, he came in to wrestle for Smoky Mountain for Jimmy Cornette, right? As Unabomb, actually. And had some good conversation with Glenn.
Les now leads wrestling podcasts across the country and was recently inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Now at 83 years old, he's a man who has seen it all, done it all in the world of wrestling. Going my way, I'm Alan Williams. Driven by the belief that every life has equal value, the Lawson Family Foundation strives to make a positive difference for East Tennesseans. This week, we honor Bridge Refugee Services, serving Knoxville and Chattanooga. The organization helps those families in their precarious journey toward a new world, securing a path toward self-sufficiency, supporting a safe and productive life through jobs, education, and housing. Bridge Refugee Services, a bridge over troubled waters, helping those in their journey, planting seeds for the future.